I'm here today with my partner Mike Albers, and we're talking about defaulted construction loan. So Mike, let's start talking about a circumstance where the lender's going to determine that they don't want to proceed with completing the job. When might that happen?
That would happen if you have one or a combination of three items. A very uncooperative borrower, a lender who feels that there is potential lender liability if they inject themselves into the construction process and they're unwilling to take that risk. Or third, they've determined that the cost of completing the project is going to far exceed the remaining and unadvanced loan proceeds.
So in one of those circumstances, what's the lender to do?
In one of those circumstances, since you assume as the lender you're still going to ultimately become the owner of the property, you want to secure the site both from vandalism or theft or asset removal by unpaid general and subcontractors, and safety so that people who are coming onto the site either with or without permission don't suffer injury and hold the lender liable.
How does the lender make the determination whether or not they want to proceed to completion, or they're just going to do what you just described, which is securing the site?
It's typically tied to where is the project right now in terms of completion, what do we think its value is, and most importantly, can it be completed for the unadvanced loan proceeds, or are you going to have to make a heavy investment to get home?
So assume that the lender does make the decision that they do want to proceed, they're going to complete the job. What do they do vis-a-vis the contractors?
Okay. Well, they want to find out whether or not the contractor's contract is in balance, whether or not the contractor can complete the remaining work for the unpaid portion of the contract sum. Ideally, that's the same imbalance that you have under the loan, but if you have a borrower who has not been a good owner, that's not necessarily going to be the case. So assuming that's the case, and that's the first item, then you want to look at, do I have collateral assignments? Do I have contingent assignment of subcontracts? Where is the project in completion so I know, do I need the general and all of the subs? Or is the project close to being finished and I just need subs that are doing interiors?
So in some circumstances, it's the general contractor that's going to actually be in default and cause the borrower to default.
Absolutely. In the general contractor, if he's in default, we're probably going to find out he hasn't paid his subcontractors, so the lender's going to have to deal with that issue. He's probably have mechanic liens against the property. I have to deal with that issue. But he's also the only person who can ever make the world right again for the unpaid subcontractors. So at that point, he wants to look to individual subs that he needs to try to complete his project, take an assignment of their contracts, and have them go forward and proceed to completion.
And how will surety bonds help the lender in that circumstance?
In that circumstance, if there's a surety bond that's been placed by the general contractor, then the general contractor is in default, and the surety is obligated under its bond. Now, sureties have 4 different options in terms of how they cure the default, but the surety would be obligated to step forward. You would want to make sure as the lender that you've been included as an additional obligee under the bond, because otherwise it is really the owner, your borrower, not you who have the rights and remedies. And you again need to make sure that the contract's in balance, because to the extent there has been an overpayment of the general contractor who's now in default, the surety has a pro tanto discharge of its obligations. Bottom line being, if the surety is called upon to complete 50% of the work, there needs to be 50% of the contract sum still available to it.
Thanks, Mike.
Certainly.